to acknowledge that Black Myth Wukong is an Unreal Engine 5 game, so for the next 1 hour and 59 minutes, we knew we'd be in for a visual feast for the eyes. The demo tasked Wukong with scaling the Blackwind Mountain, an early chapter of the game and is a location familiar to those who know the source material. Our experience with Souls-like games, which Black Myth Wukong isn't, but kinda is, more on this later, is that each location is a character unto itself. This is just as important, if not more so, than the charming Yao Guai that inhabit them. There were 3 locations we pilgrimaged through during our time with the game. The first was a rich greenwood where fallen leaves dance atop reclaimed temple ruins as you pummel wolf-like beasts with Wukong's trusty staff. The second housed several larger temples, swampy marshlands, and boss encounters including a massive white wolf Yao Guai with glowing red eyes, elevating the whole experience to spectacular levels. The third was the summit of Blackwind Mountain at sunset. Here we were faced with a gigantic fire-wielding black bear. I'm not kidding when I say that my heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my neck as the scene was set for this closing confrontation. It's fair to say that Black Myth Wukong goes full bombast on its set-piece locations and doesn't hold back on the thrills either. Our main weapon throughout the game is Wukong's long staff, an agile and quick-hitting pole capable of swatting demons 20-odd times in a single combo. Wukong is a nimble protagonist, opting for speedy chain attacks to best his foes, and dodges to avoid enemy assaults. There is no blocking system in Black Myth. Instead, it focuses on perfectly timed dodges to evade incoming blows. Technically, you can block with LB, which orders Wukong to spin his staff, but this seemed to only deflect certain projectile attacks like arrows. If a physical blow were to head his way, he'd have to dodge, which you kind of get used to fairly quickly. We noted the perfect timing window to be rather generous, which almost balanced the limited defensive options. You can spam X for your fast-hitting combo, or hold Y for a heavy attack. These are both at the cost of stamina, and I could say more, but you know, this is pretty straightforward stuff. Things get a bit more interesting where Wukong's stances are concerned, as they alter his moveset. During our demo, we managed to sample 2 of the 3 stances on offer. We began in Smash Stance, a quick combination of moves that reward you for being aggressive by building up a focus meter to pull off heavy attacks. The second stance was made available to us once Wukong reached level 5. We'd like to think of the Pillar Stance as the antagonizing cheeky shit moveset. In Pillar Stance, Wukong sits atop his staff. If you're able to hold this position and build your focus meter, the staff gets longer and longer and longer. This goads his enemies into range before unleashing a mega ground slam assault, practically one-tapping anyone caught under his staff. Pillar was our favorite stance. We found ourselves giggling as we squared up to foes perched safely atop our 20-foot tall long staff like some sort of a movable heckling arse hat. The third moveset is Thrust Stance. It was still quite far out of reach when our time with the game came to a close, only becoming available if we hit level 20. I suppose you can blame this on how long we sat on our black iron pillar like the brave little monkey we are. Some final notes on combat are the spells and shape-shifting abilities on offer in Black Myth Wukong. Each offers a wide range of strategic options to control the battlefield in your favor. By progressing through the story or by beating specific enemies, Wukong can learn spells, like the aptly named Immobilize spell, which when cast consumes mana to freeze an enemy in place for a limited amount of time, opening them up for a barrage of bonks. There's no definite number of spells we're likely to see in the game yet, but there should be a fair few. Wukong, of course, is known for his shape-shifting ability. In Black Myth, he uses these transformative skills to replicate certain special enemy Yao Guai. In this demo, once we managed to best a flame-wielding daddy of a mini-boss, Wukong could adopt their physical form, weapon, and powerful attack patterns for a limited time, being able to shift into Yao Guai whenever things got spicy, or when we fancied capitalizing on an immobilized foe, varied the combat and elevated the whole experience. At first glance, you'd be forgiven for thinking Black Myth: Wukong was a Souls-like game. There are a lot of similarities to Dark Souls. Vanquish an enemy, gain willpower, kinda like Souls. Need to replenish your health? Drink from your gourd, kinda like flasks. You get the idea, right? Black Myth: Wukong draws a lot from the genre, but in actuality is more comparable to an action RPG. Game Science opted for a more traditional skill tree, instead of tying character abilities to weapons and armor. Stances are unlocked by reaching levels and enhanced by spending earnable sparks on foundation skills or stance upgrades. Also, rather than punish the player for dying, it encourages strength and power with an awesome amount of named boss fights. Black Myth definitely feels easier than your traditional Souls-like, but strikes a solid balance between that and an action RPG. Now, there's plenty more we'd love to say about Black Myth: Wukong, but considering the game is still in active development and subject to change, we'd prefer to wait until its full release before definitively expressing how we feel. And before you ask, whilst we shared a room with a handful of developers and PR for Game Science, we were unable to ask about their recent decision to delay Black Myth: Wukong for Xbox Series X and S. We can understand many of our readers and listeners will be disappointed by this. We are too. But we wanted to respect our Read of the Room and celebrate how exciting the game is to play instead. We hope the delay isn't too long, because if our 2-hour session is indicative of what the whole experience is like, this could potentially be in the running for Game of the Year. It's seriously that good. Are you looking forward to Black Myth: Wukong on Xbox? Let us know in the comments. All that's left to say is bye-bye for now. Cheerio!